You're watching the Isaiah Factor Uncensored.
And welcome back to the second half hour, The Factor Uncensored. Like you, many of us have been watching the federal shutdown. Millions of Americans left unemployed without a paycheck for now. That has left a lot of people frustrated with our form of government. But the question is, what if we changed our form of government? Is it allowed under the U.S. Constitution? I put that question to a professor, and you may be surprised. Joining us now here on The Factor Uncensored, we have with us Dr. Dietrich Von Biedenfeld, our political analyst. Dr. Von Biedenfeld, I had a thought. What if Americans became so frustrated with Congress, both Republicans and Democrats, and the president, and they said, you know what, like the Marvel universe, we want to consider what if? What if we decided to get rid of that form of government and go with hiring a CEO of the United States and a board of directors? Is that even possible for those who may be frustrated with the system that it seems ineffective now?
It's completely possible. And again, we saw this with the 17th Amendment that allowed for the popular election of U.S. senators. And we may find that the Senate quality that we have post allowing the state legislatures to select our representatives in the Senate, that the quality perhaps has gone down because we politicized it. And of course, I analogize this to adding cameras to the courtroom, which is something that we've seen where the theater takes precedence over doing good work. We could do a constitutional amendment. Of course, even getting those 3/4 ratified states is very unlikely. It's not like Thanos snapping his fingers where we simply change. But we have various types of government throughout the world, including rotational monarchies in Southeast Asia, where there are kings who take a term. And so it's very plausible, but it's also problematic for a number of reasons where we do see delegated authority to administrative functions. Congress has delegated authority to the presidency. The presidency then delegates it to administrative agencies, the EPA, the Department of Agriculture, and each of those has semi-autonomous individuals who are supposed to administer like a business person, like a chief operations officer, like a chief financial officer. And we're such a large country, I don't know that we would see that much of a difference outside of the short term.
But if we consider that as a people, we could push that agenda.
We could certainly do it, and it could be in effect. The challenge, of course, is having more than 300 million people influencing this idea of what the perfect resume is, right? So in theory, the 4-year term of a U.S. president or 2-year term of a congressperson is designed to allow you to do feedback, to put your congressperson on a performance improvement plan and say, if you don't do better in 2 years and 4 years or in 6 years, we're going to send you home. And we just don't do that. A lot like corporate environments we still see with Tesla, where there are a lot of challenges and complaints about maybe the politicization of their top officer, and then $1 trillion pay package goes along with it. So there's criticism, and then we do the same things that we've always done.
When we talk about the United States, what do you think it is now that we're seeing where, especially when it comes to Congress, it's so ineffective? It's like Congress has no authority, no power right now, and the country's totally being operated by the president of the United States. Now, some people love that. Some people have an issue with that. But how can Congress be so powerless?
I think it's by choice. We've moved into a dial for dollars environment where the pay of the congressperson isn't so substantial that it attracts the highest quality talent. $174,000 a year isn't much if you're a highly talented cardiologist or if you are an exemplary entrepreneur. So it either becomes something that you do as a checklist. If you're a multimillionaire, some do in their 60s, they say, I haven't done Congress, I haven't done Senate. And so they use some of their hundreds of millions of dollars to buy a seat, essentially through media ad buys and various political events. And then we also have younger individuals who may not have that lengthy experience or tenure. And so I think there's a positivity to these individuals keeping the job. And just if the Democrats say yes, the Republicans get to say no. And they'll both quash third parties because it makes it a lot more challenging to actually form an opinion. If you have 14 political parties like you might see in a European country, then you actually have to formulate policy. It's a lot easier to point at the president and say, this is what the president is doing. And if your constituents like it, You agree, and if they dislike it, you disagree, but you don't actually have to come up with your own plan. And that's the magic. You can stay in office indefinitely. Again, whether there's a government shutdown, Congress gets paid. If there's a conflict somewhere, the taxpayers will fund their travel all around the world. Many Congress people get many more stamps in their passports than they would get if they were private citizens. They simply wouldn't have the opportunity to travel certain regions. So there's a lot of glamour, prestige, and attraction to it. And to keep that office, to retain power, it's a lot easier if you say up for me to be able to say down than to have to look left or right as well.
I don't think a lot of people realize what you have just explained to us, that in some instances, elected positions like Congress is for vanity, simply for vanity for some people who have the opportunity and say, let's just run and hold this position and really get there and do absolutely nothing. So I want to go back to my original point. For those who are wondering, if we could go from what we consider a democracy form of government, where we have a president and Congress who wanted to go to a CEO and board of directors under our Constitution, it's very possible, right?
Absolutely.
We'll see what happens. Dr. Dietrich Von Biedenfeld, we appreciate your time here on The Factor Uncensored, in our multiverse, on our what if in America. We appreciate your time. Always good to see you on The Factor, and we truly appreciate your expertise. And we'll let you know if we decide to go with the CEO and board of directors before we take any action. We
Yes,
may
sir.
even ask you to apply.
Thank you.